Frequency Podcast Network. Stories that matter, podcasts that resonate.
Tragedy in British Columbia, where a mass shooting at a high school in the community of Tumbler Ridge leaves 10 people dead, including the suspect. Hi, I'm Virjesh Dave. This is Big Headlines, everything you need to know to be in the know in just 5 minutes. A small community in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains is the scene of a deadly mass shooting. The attack, carried out in 2 different locations in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, has left 10 people dead, including the shooter. 7 of the victims were shot at a high school. Police say the shooter suffered from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, and 2 more bodies were found at a home about 2 kilometers away from the school. RCMP Superintendent Ken Floyd says they believe they know the identity of the shooter, but that the motive may never be known.
I think we will struggle to determine the why, but we're going to try and do our best to determine what transpired that day and what led up to this tragic event in Tumbler Ridge and across our communities.
25 other people have been injured. 2 are in life-threatening condition, including a 12-year-old girl whose family says she had to be airlifted to Vancouver.
One of the shrapnels went in her neck and in her head. She's fighting for her life right now.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has postponed a trip to Germany today because of the tragedy, and he says flags on federal buildings will be at half-mast for 7 days. Messages of condolence have been posted by several world leaders, including Ukraine, France, Australia, and Germany. A Montreal man has been arrested in New Jersey over his alleged link to former Canadian Olympian and accused drug kingpin Ryan Wedding. The FBI says 35-year-old Tommy DeMarizi was taken into custody at Newark International Airport. He's facing charges including conspiracy to distribute and export cocaine, conspiracy to commit murder, and conspiracy to tamper with a witness. Several other Canadians have been arrested as part of the massive probe into Wedding, who was arrested in Mexico last month following a years-long manhunt. Also making big headlines, in Arizona, there's still no sign of where 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie could be 11 days after she was kidnapped. There are developments in the investigation following the release of doorbell camera video showing an armed, masked suspect outside Guthrie's front door. Authorities also confirmed they detained and questioned one person. That person has reportedly been released. This woman tells CNN her home was also searched.
I told them, you can go in and search my house. There's nobody there. I have nothing to hide. There's nobody in my house.
Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie also posted a video on social media saying in the post, "Someone must know something." It's day 5 of the Winter Games in Italy, and Canada will have a couple of opportunities to reach the podium. The best chance is in ice dance, where there are 3 Canadian teams, but all eyes are on Piper Gillies and Paul Poirier in the bronze medal position after their rhythm dance routine, also just featured in the Netflix documentary Glitter and Gold.
Piper and I grew up in a time in the 90s when skating was on TV all the time. You know, I think it would be so nice for our sport to have that same level of attention and interest again.
Some freestyle skiing and women's moguls. Maya Schwinghammer from Saskatoon falling flat after a great run, though, qualifying for the second final, but finishing just off the podium in 5th. Buckle up for the fastest sport on ice. The men's and women's double luge also goes today with Canadian teams in each event. And NHLers finally make their Olympic return. Men's hockey starts today. Team Canada's first game is tomorrow against Czechia. And coming off that 5-0 loss to the U.S. yesterday, Team Canada will likely be without the injured captain Marie-Philippe Poulin again for tomorrow's game against Finland. That closes out their round robin. One in 4 Canadians say they've been a victim of fraud or extortion, according to a new Leger poll. The senior vice president of public affairs at Leger says there seems to be a confidence paradox among Canadians.
Nearly 9 in 10 Canadians say they're confident they can spot a scam, yet only 1 in 4 has already been victimized. So the confidence there doesn't clearly equal immunity. And that gap between confidence and reality is where fraudsters are going to thrive.
The survey reveals the most common forms of fraud are credit card and bank fraud, with 52% of respondents saying they've been the target of those types of scams. Almost 3/4 of respondents expressed concern about becoming a victim of fraud or extortion in the future. The report suggests that concern was significantly higher among women and Canadians aged 55 and above. If you haven't listened yet, today on the Big Story podcast, why is the CPP investing your money in XAI? Host Karen Siolan speaks to Associate Professor of Finance at the University of Toronto, Jan Marit-Smith.
Does, something like this CPPIB have a higher duty than just chasing value?
So they have the sort of legal enshrinement in the CPP Act and the CPPIB Act and in their investment mandates. And then there's a whole legal structure around what pension funds can and cannot do in Canada that should be telling them what they can and cannot do. But within that, there seems to be a certain detente between, let's call it Bay Street legal, in other words, both the legal and the investment profession and the government oversight, to say, let's try and not have these loud, complicated, intergenerational conversations because it distracts from our main mandate of making money. So we're kind of stuck there, and nobody wants to rattle the current system too much that's actually working for a lot of people.
You can listen to the full episode wherever you get your podcasts. Well, now you're in the know. Thank you for listening to Big Headlines. Make sure you follow, share, and review Big Headlines. Enrica Amaturo is our lead producer. I'm Virjesh Dave. Have an amazing day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.